I tried making Dr. Ratio's shoes, and here's how I did it. I picked up these sandals from a thrift store, and I looked for structure on the top and heel of the shoe so I wouldn't have to take it apart entirely. I started with the good old saran wrap and tape method, which is pretty awkward to do by yourself for shoes if you're not the most flexible, but still doable. I roughly drew the design on the duct tape with marker, and this gave me my duct tape pattern, which I then transferred to pattern paper and cleaned up by hand. I also took a picture of the paper pattern and refined it further against references in Affinity Design 2, then sent it to Staples for an engineering print for my final pattern. For materials, I used 2mm high density EVA foam as the base and for the details on top. For the fabric, I used Yaya Han's Supreme Gold fabric that I had on hand. Once I had all the back foam and details glued together, I sealed it with my heat gun and applied barge contact cement to both the foam and the back of the spandex. To finish it off, I cut the excess down to about 3/8 of an inch overhang, cut notches all around, covered the excess spandex edge and a bit of the foam's back with contact cement, then pressed it all around for that clean edge. Then glued the whole back piece and foam as close to the bottom edge of the shoe as possible. Luckily for Dr. Ratio shoes, the technique and materials I used for the rest is pretty much the same. It was more about getting the depth of the details just right. The main different technique that I used for the top of the shoe was for the grooves in the swirly pattern on the sides and the ridge on the centerpiece. I made sure my X-Acto knife was super sharp with some WD-40, then cut into the foam at 45-degree angles, making opposite cuts about 1/8 of an inch apart to create the groove going inward for the swirls and on the back of the centerpiece to get the ridge on the front. Now that I had all the foam together, I did the same spandex gluing steps as the back. Because this shoe is enclosed around the ankle, I used some about 1/2 inch elastic with silicone on the back, glued it inside the shoe to attach those flappy pieces so I would have that ankle movement. I also added Velcro to that piece on the outside so I could get in and out of the shoe easily. For the black ankle piece, I used some leather I had lying around. I think I could have used 2mm foam with some black pleather for more structure. I bought black buckles from Amazon and positioned them on the inside of my leg to make them less noticeable. I used a leather puncher to put a hole in the gold part first and attached these together with my metal rivets, hammered them in, and moved on to the final 2 steps. The gem on the shoe was also made with 2mm foam. I made the same 45-degree cuts from the center towards the points and used contact cement to create the ridge on the front. For painting, I applied 5 layers of Flex Bond, 1 layer of gesso, 2 layers of sandable microfiller, which I sanded with 400 then 1500 grit sandpaper, added a black gloss base, created a blue and purple gradient with my airbrush, and sealed it with a gloss varnish. I just glued the gems right to the shoe with E6000. As my last and final touch, I had this gap around the bottom edge of the shoe. I found a braided ribbon at Michael's and some gold cord at my local fabric shop that glued them on with just good old crazy glue, and that's it. Thanks for watching if you made it this far, and happy crafting!